Da, 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 da,
Oh, very
da.
nice.
Very nice. Da, da, da. And I don't know the rest of it. But anyways, congratulations. You've been through a huge journey, and it's a huge commitment to commit to a 6-month program, and then to show up to the degree that all of you did. Like all of you, like you guys were here. You came to all the trainings. Of course, things come up, but in general, you were at all the trainings. You came to the coaching calls. All of you were always so prepared. You always had the things to ask. You did the activities. You threw yourself in, and I'm so honored that I got to be with you through this process. And I just want to, right out of the start, right out of the gate, is recognize all of you for how you really committed yourself to this process. It just like lights me up, and I'm feeling tons of butterflies right now and sparkles, because it just lights me up so much to know how committed you all were to yourselves, like to your own growth, and to really saying yes to yourself and really stepping into loving yourself, because that can be challenging and hard. And you all really gave your all to it. And so I just want to honor each of you for doing that and for showing up in this way in this program. So well done. And I hope you feel it. Like, I hope you feel proud of yourself for what you were able to do, and for how you were able to show up. It was a huge commitment, because there was a ton of content, and we went deep, fast, and there was a lot of hours, that were just for this program. So whatever you were able to do, I hope you feel good about what you gave to yourself through this program. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I was just saying with Julie as well, that the 6 months went quick. And then also, as I was reflecting and filling out the sheet, I just realized how much we've grown. Like, we all did probably 10 years worth of work in 6 months. So it was really fun. But yeah, we all grew a lot.
Yes. And I'm glad. It's great to hear you say that. And it's true. I mean, when I look back, like, I didn't exactly know how this program would unfold, but as I look back on it, I realized, like, this is not really a 6-month program, Jill. Like, we bit off so much. This is at a minimum probably a year-long program for the amount of stuff we really stepped into. But it just goes to show that, like, time is an illusion. I mean, what you put in front of time is what you get back. So you put a lot in front of it, and so you can accelerate your growth immensely when you do that. So yeah, but it does require that commitment and that sticking to it, which you all did. So yeah. Yay. Awesome. Well, let's just jump into this now. So there's a few very key things I want to cover. I just want to pull up my notes because I don't want to forget anything. So, right. So what are you seeing on the screen? Are you seeing my notes?
Your congratulations with the diamonds.
All right, we'll just keep the diamonds there because we like the diamonds. Okay. So first thing I want to do is I want to just do a little bit of sharing from the reflection form. We won't go through every question, but we'll go through some of the key questions, and you may reply, or respond if you want to. You don't have to, or maybe you want to respond to one or two of the questions, but not all. That's totally fine. I just want to, get some sharing and learn what some of your insights have been through this program that are personal to you and that will help you to move forward. So we'll go through just a few key questions there on that form. And then we're going to do the visualization, which will take probably about 30 minutes to be able to allow the writing time. And I sent you all the document, and in the notes I said, please don't look at it if you can. I put a cover sheet on it so that hopefully when it prints out, there's the cover on it, because I don't want your brain to start answering these questions. Like, we want to get to the heart. We want to reach the soul and answer it from that place. So that's why, when you look ahead, what happens is even if you don't look at it long, your brain is going to want to start to figure things out. And that's what gets us in trouble. we have to go with the heart, and then we can add the brain to help fill in the gaps. Okay. So we'll do that. That'll take about 30 minutes. And then as we wrap up at the end, I'm going to ask you all a question to share with the group. And I'll provide there's just a couple tiny little announcements that I'll make. And then we'll pretend that we have little champagne glasses or teacups or whatever, and we will clink at the end. Okay. So how does that sound as a plan?
Great.
Okay, cool. Great. All right. Okay. So in terms of the self-reflection.
Lee has a question.
Oh, Lee. Yes, please.
Yeah. I didn't print out what you told me to print out because I thought I'd read it, but now I don't know where it is. Do I need it right now? I can't find it in the mails.
Okay. You will need it. Well, I don't even want to say you need it, because I'm going to be asking you the questions and you're going to be journaling. It is just the questions. Okay. So if you want to be able to see them as we go, or if you want to journal on them, because I sent it in a Word doc, I believe, you'll want to have it in front of you, but we're not doing that just yet. We'll do it in about 15 minutes or so.
When did you send it?
I sent it late last night, which would have been your probably first full weight.
By itself? I know I saw it, and I don't know where it went, so I'll have to look.
Yeah, it was an email. I can re-forward it to you if you would like. Let me just pull that up.
Trying to see here.
Yeah. It went out at 10 minutes to 8 my time. So it would have been your morning yesterday. You would have gotten it. So
here it is. Okay.
You got it? Okay.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It says
one thing attached.
LYR celebration call.
Okay.
Well, yeah, one worksheet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you're bringing up something that maybe you don't even realize you're bringing up, but it's a really fair point and a good point, is that I do want to apologize for how documents just come at you. It's because until I actually am throwing myself into creating this stuff, I don't always know that, I think I need to send this. I mean, you're kind of in the beta version of this program. So now that I know this, that like the people next time, I mean, their price will be higher because of it. But that's kind of why it's like that. Cause I'm like, I think they need this. I need to send it. So that's sort of why it's been that way. And I know that can be sort of like jarring a little bit. So I do apologize for that. And I appreciate you just sort of going with me on that stuff as we go.
It's been fun to go with you on the flow. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I want to give you things that I think, that will be helpful, but I know that it's like 12 hours before the thing, but I've just been following my heart and doing it anyway.
That's good. That's one of the notes I made. It was fun to watch you follow your heart and be intuitive with what the group needed. So that was good too.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Very nice. Okay. So let's start with, the first one. I really like this first question is just, if you want to share, one significant insight you have or one lesson that you picked up that you really think is going to play a significant role in how you move forward. If you have anything like that you would like to share that you discovered through this process, and just feel free to jump in.
I would say for me, the shadow work was gigantic. That series of lessons was big. It went deep. Some of the weeks of doing that were very difficult. It was also very freeing as well. So I am super grateful at the strength all of us had as we dove into those, because I could tell each of us worked on a lot. And so that was fun to go through that together. And I appreciate all of you for providing that safe space for each other that we could do that. So that was my number one thing, I would say. And then I loved all 5 voices and how in depth you went on each one. And I know you could talk for months about each one, that you really hit the key points and we all rose to the occasion and address those. And we can keep going back and working these in as we grow, because I'll go back and read this and I'm in a different place now than I was the first time around. So I love that this is something we can keep building upon as well. So, and then the last thing I put was connecting to the archetype is a big thing. So it's a big step, but do that too.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Would anyone else like to share?
I can, I guess, about the boundaries. I think the last time we talked, I think I had talked about it. My daughter and I were on the phone, and she hung up on me because of all the discussion about scholarships and money and what she was expecting and wanted and everything. And I wrote her an email because she said she was going to be working all weekend. So I just wrote her an email about, when we hang up on each other, we should call and apologize and things like that. But also, I'm sending you money and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Here's a plan. Let's see if this plan works. And I told her how much I could send her for her medical bills right now, and that I would cover her rent for the next 6 months if she would cover the school bill, and just kind of laid it out that, that's it. She took extra time because of her changing her major, so she went beyond the 4 years, but just a little bit. And I just laid it out for her. And then when she wanted to talk on Monday, I said, well, read the email first. And she did. And she said, I agree with all of it. So that was very nice to have. And then when we did talk on the phone, we worked out the details of how long it would take for me to send her all that and how we would set it up. And it just felt a lot more stable.
Nice. Nice. And how do you feel around the whole thing of it? I mean, you said stable, but how do you feel emotionally?
Well, I've said to her before, I'm not your ATM machine, but she's heard it in high school, but it made me feel more, I don't know, strong in my boundaries that this is the way it's going to be. And, she's going to have to do some savings, or she's going to have to, what she's not doing is ask for a raise and all that. So I helped her with the scholarship form. I gave her some tips and stuff, but I guess I don't feel so, pulled in other directions. I feel more like I don't know, I guess authentic or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's about listening to my voice, that boundaries thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing I do want to comment on this, because it's so important, is that what you're bringing up here, when we buy in to an idea within ourselves, 9 times out of 10, you'll get the buy-in from the person. It's when we're not, we put stuff out to other people without being like super aligned with it, that's where we get into the battles with people, because you're not strong within yourself really about what you're saying.
Right.
And it sounds like kind of like that's how you had been coming from in the past, Julie, because you're kind of like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I'm being pulled by her and I'm being pulled. And so you're like, you're not anchored into what you can do. And so then she can come in, and anyone can come in and just kind of like yank you anywhere. But when you got yourself aligned with what you could do, and you were really committed to that within yourself, then you put that out there to her. She's like, oh yeah, I agree with all of this. Right.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
Yeah. It was a lot better. And it wasn't this, drama or craziness of, but mom, you're not helping me, which is what I hear.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That
felt huge. Better. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. Oh, did you want to say something, Linda?
I was just saying, yay for Julie. That's awesome.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Really awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, Linda, what I want to come back to with what you had shared here, because the shadow work, it's so huge. It's so big. And like we said, and we never really get done with it, but, is there, and maybe this will come up later, but I'm curious if there's anything just off the top of your head, anything that, any way that you will apply that, you think, as you move forward, like now that you've gone down into this whole idea of the shadow and how to do that. How do you see yourself using that to help you in the future?
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely, like, I almost, I don't even say enjoy it, but I'm not afraid of it at all now. And so when it comes up, I just have a maturity about it that, like, oh, cool, this is a shadow. Here we are. We're going to step into this together. And so I'm able to just really step in a mature way, in a loving way, and almost an excited way to see what part of the inner child that I left behind, and just love that part and embrace that part back in. And it's been in such a motherly, loving way, and it's been reciprocated because the child is loving me back as well, and the shadow's loving me, and it's become fun. So things that are popping up, I'm noticing things different in life as well. And it was something that had triggered me before. It says that even if a trigger arises now, like, wait a second, what's this tied to? And then instead of the surface issue, it's going to that deeper level and taking some time. So in my next meditation, I might go in and just really ask those questions. This triggered me. Why was that? And then boom, I'll all of a sudden get a vision of a shadow, and it's just quickly happening too. So it's amazing how fast I can work through some. Blowing out my microphone. So fun. But, yeah, the shadows are popping out of my ears. So I appreciate what we went through and the way we went through it. It's enabled me to really want to step into it more. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Good. Well, I'm glad that, yeah, it sounds like it's pretty easy for you to apply it now in those situations without letting the triggers kind of take you all over the place.
Yeah.
Like we know
Yeah.
they can at times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's empowering to know that there's answers for everything. Before I would just wonder why, but we can really find answers to anything. So
Very
cool.
good point.
Thanks. Yeah.
Very good point. Yeah. Yeah. Lee, did you want to share anything on that first one before we move on? A significant insight or lesson?
Shadow work was one, and wanting, to probably go through all the voices again. I could really see the flow clearly, and wanting to kind of want to do it all again. Because now I see the flow and the connections and things I couldn't journal. Like cutting on the surface, and now I'm getting to the point where the money, which I thought I would be, isn't becoming clear. It's like, oh, I thought this is where I'd be starting. So it's kind of if that makes sense. I had to go through the surface stuff, and now looking at the archetype and the issues that are coming up, now I see, okay, this is what a lot of what's going on. So it was kind of a lot of background work was going on. And so now I feel I can in the way that, the progression worked. And two other things. One was that, and that is emotion. And so really,
Lee, you're cutting in and out.
There's going to be a way for it to come out.
Lee, you're cutting out quite a bit. I didn't catch the second thing that you said it was.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's coming through much clearer. Yes.
Let's see. I wonder if I need to change room. No, it looks like my connection's okay. No. Let me see.
Is everything okay? Lee?
So she's going to change rooms first
Okay.
on her chat.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't have the chat up. Thank you, Julie. You are the chat queen. I love it. Okay. All right. While Lee is going to a different room, we're going to move on. Okay. And then we'll come back to Lee when she's able to join us back. So the next question is, were there any, what came up in terms of how you stop yourself, or a block that you maybe didn't realize was there that you can now clearly see? Anything around that, a block or things that you've been doing to get in your own way? Anyone want to share anything around that one?
I can.
Sure.
Yeah. I just wrote it down when we were talking about shadow work, but boy, when I wrote it down, it was like, oh, wow. And that is the shadow for me is, I'm not enough kind of thing. But the part of that is I'm not being valued connects both with those relationships that we just talked about, but also with my coaching and getting clients. So I had clients not sign up for a second time, the new people in this last 6 months. And then I just found out today, I think it was yesterday, that I did not get hired for that EverCoach position, the coaching position. I did get some other information from someone else, but not from the email. The email is pretty, just we had 300 applicants and all that stuff. But I did get some helpful information from someone else. But then I need to reach out, at that point, I need to then still reach out to other people and get some people to be in my group in 2 weeks. And it makes me stop, like, oh, well, that they didn't value me. And oh, well, they didn't value me. And oh, yeah, that person didn't value me. I mean, I either solved all their problems in 12 weeks and that's the end, or they didn't see as much value in it as I thought they would have. So then it's like, well, then, so I'd have to say it still stops me, but I would also say that I see it as a shadow, and I see it as why it has a strength or an advantage. And I see the new way of, kind of sitting quietly with that more, and then figuring out, okay, then what do I want to do? That I've been working on is, I think Derek said yesterday, be still and trust. And you had taught us this trust stuff, which is the other thing I wrote down. And I think the trust was my biggest shift. So somehow the trust thing, I had read the book Trust that you had brought up, but I had read only like the first half of it or something. I hadn't finished reading it. And so now I probably need to go do that. But the way trust interfaces with I'm not valued. And I think that is more that, I am divine light. And so other people not valuing me doesn't matter. So I can trust that, which is where I need to be trusting. So I'm better about that.
Very good. Yeah.
I hope that all flowed enough.
Well, yeah, because the first thing that when you said that people don't value me, immediately my gut reaction is, whenever we feel like someone doesn't value us, it's like, let's turn that lens in on ourselves. Where am I not valuing myself? Because that's exactly what it is. So, and that's really all that's needed. And you just beautifully laid it out that when you remember that, oh yeah, I mean, I am divine light. And that therein I am, thus I am valuable. Like nothing can make you not be. And you stand in that value. You stand in that value that you are, and in that light that you are. And that's where the trust comes in. Like you just trust that this light is everything. It's all you need. And you go out from that place, that center, that strong place inside you, and you do what you need to do. And when people don't step, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons we can come up with, we can make a list of why people don't continue on. But I mean, one of the big reasons, this is not the only reason, but one of the big reasons is because people don't value themselves enough. You know, they're not valuing them. And so it's reflecting back on you as they don't value you, but like, are they valuing their continued growth? Now, that's not to say that, you know, a person has to work with you or they don't value themselves, because maybe it wasn't the right fit too, you know? So it's not saying that like everyone that says no to you is that they don't value themselves. Not at all. But it's an element, you know, it's an element. The bottom line is it has nothing to, either way, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It's either they're not valuing themselves enough or they're not the right fit. Like they're not your ideal client, you know, and that's okay. Like not every, I mean, I've worked with a ton of people who are definitely not my ideal client, and they got value, but it wasn't a, you know, like you can tell when it's a perfect fit and when it's not. There's just a different feeling to it.
Yeah.
And not everyone's meant to work with us.
Yeah. And for different amounts of time, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
6 weeks. The lady that was just 6 weeks, she's not continuing, but I think she was getting uncomfortable with the huge changes she was trying to make.
Yes.
and needed to step back.
Yes.
She's like living with these two different guys at the same time and trying to figure out, okay, wait, I got to slow down. And then it all made sense. And I think the most important thing you just said is it isn't about, you know, my value. And that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. We are so good at making associations in our mind that aren't otherwise there.
Mm-hmm.
We connect things all the time. I do this all the time. I'm becoming extremely aware of how I do this, but we all do it. We all make connections where there is none to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not helpful 9 times out of 10. So yes, I love what you just shared there. And just, you know, it's time to break that association that when someone says no, that equals they don't value you. It doesn't whatsoever. There's no association there. Great. Okay. Anyone else want to share about a block you discovered that you didn't know was there before, or a way that you've been stopping yourself that you now see clearly?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A block, it kind of goes back to the shadows. And when I would doubt myself and think, well, you know, I can't do this, or, you know, should I follow, or have, you know, all those conversations come up and nothing's really there. Now I'm more clear that there's a reason why I was doing that. And that's okay. So there's more, I guess, kindness to myself when I have those blocks and those doubts. I might think, and something just happened the other day, and I was just like, oh, wait a minute, maybe there's a shadow there. Or maybe there's something going on. But anyway, instead of, you know, doubling it up by getting frustrated with myself for feeling that way, you know, why can't I just push through? Knowing there's a reason why there's a resistance coming up. And sometimes it's okay to go with that resist in terms of, you know, not following through because there's a reason why, and maybe going the other direction is better to do. So it's kind of teasing out between what the desire is and then when the doubts come in. So making that line a little bit more clear to see.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And so wanting, you know, to develop that and continue that more so that I'm not, because it still, you know, can pull me in. Even though I can see it, I still get pulled in. So the next step is to stop it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And that's just about the programming in your brain, the conditioning. So seeing it's the first step. So you're there, but then the next step is, okay, making a different choice at that point. And that's what we have to practice once we get to that point and we don't always do that well, right? Because and the reason why, it's a very simple reason, is because you're programmed to make the choice you've always been making in that situation. So even though, okay, now I can see it, it's still another thing to have to choose to see it, to do something different. So that's where your work is now, okay, now here I am again. What choice am I going to make? And making that really conscious And sometimes, like, if you're not in a strong place within yourself in that day or whatever, you might not be able to, you might go down the path. I mean, I find myself still going down paths, saying things like with my son, he's really good at triggering me. So there's things that, I'll get triggered by, and I will see myself. I did this yesterday. I'm like reacting in the way that I am aware I don't want to do. And I could have made another choice, but for whatever reason, I didn't, and that's not a reason to beat yourself up. And I cleaned it up, we cleaned up the situation quickly, but yeah, it's practice. It's unwiring and creating the new connection in the brain. It takes time.
Add the other thing that I'm seeing is when something comes up and I might feel something about someone else or they do something, I'm going to more, okay, what's their shadow? What's going on there in their story?
Yeah.
And that brings me to a different level. But wait a minute, they've got their stuff going on too. It's the same thing in their mind, and they may not be wanting to do things. So it's, I'm trying to bring it to other people too when it comes up. I may not know what is going on with them, but the fact is something going on, probably.
Yes, that's beautiful, and that's the healer in you. That's the healer in you. It's beautiful, and it helps to be able to deal with it too when we look at it from that perspective. Like they're calling out, like they're lashing out in pain. Like there's that's coming from a pain inside of them that they have.
Yeah, I kind of think, what's their story? How did they get to that place? And it just kind of stops you that we're all doing the same thing. I'm like, why are we doing this? We're just creating all this suffering, We're doing it to ourselves and other people, we're all this kind of, turmoil. And so just stepping back, in both directions, I think is equally important too.
Yes, exactly. Yep, absolutely. Julie, I totally forgot I left that up. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, absolutely. We are all doing, I love how you said that, Lee. We are all doing the same thing. And, it's up to us, like we're all leaders on this call, right? So it's up to all of us to get ourselves in alignment. Like that's the most important thing that we can do. When we are in alignment with ourselves, then that's how, that's where you want to lead from, is being in complete and total alignment with yourself, whether you're leading your family or you're leading in your business. We all lead in different ways. You're leading, some community thing or something in your neighborhood. I mean, you want to be in your alignment, and that's where all of your strength comes from and all of your power. Yes, excellent. So beautiful shares, everybody. Thank you so much for. Linda, I don't know if you wanted to say anything on that one.
We can go on to, but yeah, very similar. They both summed it up well, and a lot of that was working through the trust and wondering, can it really happen for me? Do I really deserve to step into this level of wealth? And then the other question still comes up. Well, and then will I be okay when it does? So I've released a lot of layers on that, and I've released a lot of layers on the irresponsible shadow and the fear shadows and those different things. So it's still continuing to work on the trust and the voice of self-acceptance. So
yes,
we'll keep getting there.
Yes, yes, and we'll keep working on that.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about the deserving piece, and I'm saying this because this came up today in a call I was in earlier. So I think there's a reason. Just a reminder, we've said this many times. I just want to remind you all again, you don't have to feel like you deserve to have what you want. You don't have to feel it, that you deserve it, to still be able to get it. You don't have to do anything to deserve it. Now, you do have to be the cause of it, but that is different than deserving it. You don't have to be, quote unquote, good in some way that someone else defines in order for you to be worthy of whatever you want. You don't have to feel worthy. None of that stuff comes into play because you were born with the right to experience whatever you desire. Like that is part of the seed of you. It came with you. Like we deny it all the time and make it wrong and put these things on it about having to deserve and be worthy. But no, that's just stuff that got added on to us after we were here. We came with the worthiness fully intact to have all those things. And like, bringing up Derek again, Derek Rydell likes to talk about the oak tree and the seed. And it's like, in that seed is the fullest. I mean, think of how grand and majestic an oak tree is. That is, we all have the oak tree that we're supposed to be within us. And that seed doesn't have to do anything to become that oak tree, but a cause has to be created, right? So the cause is it's got to get planted in the ground. It's got to, be in the soil. It's got to have the water and the sunshine. As long as the cause moves forward, that seed will grow. So you do have to be the cause, but that's different than deserving. Right. So we have to just always constantly remind ourselves of this, I think.
Great reminder. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how about a new decision or a new choice or a new commitment or declaration that you have made as a result of the program that you are now putting into play based on where you're at? Something that you've decided you're doing. Anything around that? Any new decisions?
I could share the decision I made is to commit to a daily meditation and asking inside and going inside for answers. The declaration, though, is I am a benevolent ruler. And so that's stepping into the archetype with benevolence and grace. And just actually saying that is still a little awkward, but I'm still working on stepping into it and just really owning that. So I'm willing to do that every day and just to step into it, even though I'm nervous and scared and excited and nearsighted and whatever I want to mix together. It's happening though. So anyway, so that's big for me, is stepping into that. So
awesome.
I am a benevolent ruler.
Yes, you are. And I might even suggest for that one that you actually, every morning, that you look at yourself in the mirror and say it out loud to yourself while you're looking at your face.
Okay.
Every day. That will make a huge difference if you're actually, especially if it's a little bit hard and feels a little funky. I would recommend that.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And watch how it changes fast. Seriously. Okay. Excellent. Anyone else want to share a decision, a commitment you've made to yourself, anything like that?
I wrote down 4 just now, but I've actually made this one before, and I've actually done it before, like in these little bitty turtle steps. But, I've always thought, and people have contradicted this, I can't work on offering my retreat, like a well-being retreat, because I don't have that many clients that would step into it. So I first need to spend the next couple of years or whatever getting, 20 clients that might give me 5 or 8 people at a retreat. And so what the card, you see, I have this card of alchemist, of my archetype. And that is really about a big vision kind of thing, and then making the vision illuminating positive change and the inner idealist, right? So when you and I went over these the first time, I probably committed to it then too, but that talking about retreats, offering retreats, learning about retreats, something needs to be at the same time. It needs to go at the same time because it's more of the authentic soul purpose. And if the authentic soul purpose is left behind, things aren't working. Things are stalling. And I'm like, okay, I got to get this group client. Well, I'm not getting any group clients. But maybe that's, Derek said it today. I don't know how he said it, but if you're not moving forward with what you're aligned with, the universe isn't on your side.
That's a very good way to say it. Absolutely.
Because
True.
you're not doing the thing. You're not doing the oak tree.
Yep.
And if the retreat is, my oak tree, then I've been doing everything but. And then complaining that it's not happening. So I think I still need client A and B and C. I still need something right now. I still need to get help getting, the next steps and everything, but I can still learn about the world opening up and where people go. And I mean, I kind of feel like I did it last month, or whenever it was, April, when John and I went to Sedona, because that's been always a place that I wanted to offer a retreat. So I thought, well, I did my research. I got to see what that was like. It was a vacation. But yesterday, and I didn't do it, but yesterday something popped up on Facebook that was a retreat, like a transformational retreat workshop on how to do that, how to offer it. And believe it or not, it was pay what you want to pay. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I never see that. It was okay. Normally it's $97, and if you wanted to pay that, you would get the replays or whatever. But if you wanted to just join, you just put in any price you want. As long as it's over $1, we'll take it. And I was like, oh, but if I do that, then I have to actually go through all that and listen and, follow. And I was just like, I was overwhelmed thinking it's time, and I didn't do it. It wasn't a great day anyway, yesterday. So I think it might, I don't know, I'll look for it again, because that came up to me just now, alchemist and idealist and ideas. And, I'm working on this retreat for my spiritual practice in December, helping them a little bit. And it's not going away. It's supposed to go away, but it's not going away. I mean, the pandemic made it go away. But so somehow I don't even want to say it out loud, like Linda said. If I say it out loud, maybe I have to do it. But somehow take steps towards retreat offerings at the same time as I do what I'm doing. So there you go.
Well, Julie, I have been waiting
I know.
maybe a year, pushing up on a year and a half for you to talk about this retreat again, girl.
Maybe 2 years.
Maybe.
It's been a chunk.
I was waiting through this whole program to see when you would bring up, I didn't want to bring it up for you, but I'm like, when's she going to bring up that retreat?
Well, it comes from here. It's kind of like there isn't any other reason for this to be first of my list of archetypes. There's no other reason. There's nothing else there, coming up with something. It's the only reason that's my card. So whenever you talk about the cards, I'm like, oh God, here it is again. I got to think about that again. And I'm like, oh, so expensive. And oh, I need so many people. And oh, how's that going to work? And all the how. So I'm saying it out loud, and I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna look on Facebook for that thing that the lady offered for who knows how much price, and learn more, because lots of people talk about retreats, and I'm afraid, along the lines of it has to be big, and I have to have 10, and all those things. My ultimate goal, which I probably talked about at the beginning, was a retreat center in Hawaii that I would actually share with someone. So if we've got any, angel investors here, that's the next thing, is a retreat center in Hawaii. But before that, there could be all kinds of other retreats that are smaller. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit like, and we all do this, we all do it, and not to make this turn this into a coaching call, which I feel like I kind of am. But you're making it a bigger thing than it needs to be. I think you could do there's the big grand retreat. I mean, I'd love to do one of those too, but I'm not feeling pulled to it like you are. I will tell you that when I was dabbling in shifting my niche a little bit, so like 6 years ago, I was still in the parenting world, but I really wanted to talk about abundance and manifestation. And I got the bird in my craw that I need to do a retreat, but I don't know how. So I'm just going to do something, and I'm going to just test it out. and I'll just make it one day because that seems like I can get my head around, and I'll just do it in Chicago because it's local. And Linda was at that retreat.
It was awesome.
I ended up having, I didn't even know if I would get anybody to it, Julie. And I ended up finding 5 people. And actually one of the people that signed up brought 2 people to it. So, and I wasn't even counting on that, but I was doing things like, bring a friend for X amount. Like I was, you pay this and then you bring a friend, it'll be this or whatever. So there was all kinds of, and I was just talking about what I wanted to talk about. And I was super aligned with it. I was super excited about doing this retreat. And I'm like, even if one person comes and we like, I make an impact on that person, like, and never mind the fact of then it allows me to like go through the process, feel what it's like to actually host something like this, which is something I've never done before. So I was even seeing, well, that would be valuable. But I had 5 people. And did we not have an amazingly fun time? And like,
it was amazing. Yeah.
It was so fun. And the ladies were all so fun.
They were so fun. And I loved the intimacy of it, I would say. I actually really loved that it was a smaller size. So if that helps you, Julie, because it didn't have to be big. It was really intimate and everybody was so fun. Like it just, and Jill brought out that energy in everyone, like she does in this group too. So we all rise up to that. It's super fun. So picture that too. It can be small.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
It's a tribute that you're here after that,
Absolutely. Yeah. I was one of the ones that made a difference on because I'm still around. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I planned it. We did it in June. I started promoting it in April. So 2 months. In 2 months, I picked a date and I just drew the line in the sand. Here's when it's happening. And didn't even know exactly where it was going to be yet, or maybe I had just figured it out because I think I was putting out pictures of the hotel space because it just had a nice vibe. I liked the vibe. So I found a place. I just started putting out there. I just started talking about it because I was so excited about it. It wasn't hard for me to talk to people about it. And I kept it a low cost. And I just wanted to go through the feel of what would this be like to do this? And you can do that too.
What was your low cost?
I think it was like, I don't know, maybe $197 or something.
Oh, because it was daytime only.
It was a 1-day retreat.
During the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that. See, I mean, so we could go into all kinds of talk about this, but it was like $200. And then that did not pay for it because I had 5 people paying that. So that's $1,000, right? No, because I went all out with the food and the we did a lunch, and we did afterwards at the end we did a happy hour with all kinds of fancy happy hour type foods, not like buffet stuff. Like it was open bar, like it was so cocktails. We like on this outside deck overlooking downtown Chicago. I mean, like I really wanted to make it nice. That cost more than the money I made. However, I sold a program after that. Okay, at the end, I pitched another program, and 5 of the 6 people said yes. Oh, there were 6 people. 5 of the 6 people said yes to the program, and that program was $1,000 a person. So because of that, it covered the costs of the event, which I did not have to pay until after the event. I had to pay a deposit, which I did. What people paid me for the retreat helped me pay for the deposit. And then when I had to make that second payment or that final payment, I had it. So that helped. So, I mean, there was a strategy, and that was a 6-month program. I think I sold a 6-month group thing that we were doing, and that was really fun too. So you want to be strategic about it so that you do not end up in debt, but there's a way to do it and you can pull it together quickly is my point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good pieces of advice. That was really good that she had the program. And then the other thing that she did was offered some VIP time. So we could pay a little bit more and have some private time with her. So I did that because I was like, ooh, I get to be face to face with Jill and not just on the phone. This was the first time I got to meet her in person. And so I was all over that. And so, and then that session we had together was a humongous breakthrough for me as well. So I am still to this day super grateful for that session. So
yeah, and that was, I'm glad you brought that up. And that was, so we did that the day after. So I think the retreat was a Saturday. Sunday we did Linda's VIP day. That was also much higher cost because that's a VIP day. I think we had like 5 hours together. So yeah, that also helped, pay the cost of this thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Good ideas. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
those are really good ideas.
So you can do it, Julie.
Mhm.
Get out there with this retreat. Come on, girl.
I'll do it in Japan. How's that?
Ooh, yeah.
We can help with some yoga moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Anything else about a big block that you didn't see that you now see, or how you were stopping yourself? I think we were on that. Oh no, we were on
your
new decision
declarations.
declaration. Right. I'm going backwards. Any new decisions, stake in the ground that you're putting down?
For me, actually, I just realized this right now. My top value. It's the first word on my card on the archetype.
Oh,
It's the same word.
Ooh.
Happiness.
Wow.
And to me, I know you have said freedom, Jill. For me, freedom is included in the happiness, but I just
Right.
realized now that's the first word. And then when I read this over, the first time I read this, I was like, oh God, I can't believe this is me. I mean, I know it was me, but I was like, wow, of course I have all these, hang-ups about money. I'm reading this, like, how do I ever get over it? So I really didn't want to read it. And then when I went back to it later, was it last time, I think when we did our money, whatever we did, the night training 19, I realized how kind it is. And it like takes you step by step. And it's really playful. And so it's just, and playful is one of the words, and joyful, connection, happiness, connection. And so it's all these words, that often come up. Abundant is another one, but it's shifting the way I'm thinking about it. And so some of the things that come up is just to be more playful about how I'm thinking about money and looking at it. And so it's really taking baby steps, because if you read Connector, you'll see how I'm like that complete opposite from the ruler, and the celebrity, it's just the opposite. It's so funny. It's just so opposite, and how exact it is. So as I was writing, something to really develop more is really more of a playful relationship and keeping it playful. And, I'm not thinking of anything big scale right now. And it's more, and I had a session yesterday, I talked about my horoscope, and how I've got these two kind of pulls, but this desire just to trust that it's going somewhere. And so I don't know, like, monetarily how it's going to emerge. And that's not really part of the vision right now, but there's something pushing me. And so just to keep, if I can, everything more in a playful, lighter way, even when these shadows come up, or even, when I'm interacting with someone, and then I'm starting to think, well, wait a minute, what's their shadow? What's their story? And that may not be playful because there could be a lot of suffering there, but to keep that kind of open, warm attitude, and also really try to shift that to money, which is going to be big, I think, but really, to change that relationship with it. And there were a couple, let me see, I had a few, if there are any as I reread training 19, there were just so many positive ways I wrote about it. I was really surprised. And that's why I meant, like, here we are at the end of the program, like, oh, this is where I should have started from. But yeah. Like one thing, I'm playful, everything I do, including my relationship with money. What else? Let's see. Was there something here? And the 4 words that came out from that exercise in 19 were playful, detail, uncomplicated, and permission. Wow. And so, to me, if I think of the bigger picture, I want to make this around or whatever, then I may pull back. When I think of those simple words, if I just follow a simple path, it'll work out.
Yeah.
So it was just a very interesting mind shift that I want to start getting more used to and really putting into play, and to figure out the other thing is creative ways to do this,
Yeah.
to keep it fun and playful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so one idea that came up was, make a money notebook. And then I didn't have time to, explore that more, and maybe that's something I can ask you more about later, but, how to make a money notebook where, I'm looking at it and, embellishing it, and it's fun and it's light. And when the fear comes up, try to push it away and then, look at it again. So, if I can keep in that vibration, when I'm in that vibration, I get lots of ideas and inspiration.
Sure.
So I guess it's kind of the vibration about money is kind of changing. Maybe that's what it is.
That's huge. Huge. Really, that's a huge shift. That's fabulous. And that's a good firm, like I'm going to go about this more playful. I'm going to remember these words. I mean, you can put those words where you can see them all the time. And like, because it is simple. Like you said it right there. You're like, it is simple. We complicate everything. And I know people say that all the time, but like, it is true. we, the God source, the divine, like didn't make, like, it's such a complicated system, but it runs with simplicity and ease if we let it, so yeah, we can make it easy. It can be easy. We always try to overcomplicate it, and that's when we start to spin. So I love it. Love it. Beautiful. Beautiful, everybody. Yay. All right. Well, any last thoughts from anything from the form? I'm not going to ask any more questions from that form, but is there anything else that anyone wanted to share from your reflection over these 6 months before we move on to our final piece here, the visualization? Feels good? Okay. All right. So we're going to do the visualization now. And typically how we would, if we were together, I would have you in a space where you could stand up and you could take a step several different times. We're going to do this 3 or 4 times. So if you feel that you can take a step in your space and listen and write, great, do it. But if not, for me, that would be difficult. Okay. So I'm going to, instead of a step, I'm going to have you take a leap in your mind's eye from, mountain to mountain. Okay. We'll leap over. So we'll be going to different places. So you can either just visualize that in your mind, or if you do want to actually physically move your body, because some people really are more into the movement and that helps you get into the energy more, you can move. Okay. All right. So make sure that you have that handout, that worksheet, either printed in front of you so that you can respond to each question, or somewhere where you can refer to it if you need to see the questions that I'm sharing, and something else to write with, okay, and to write on. Because it's a sort of active visualization. You're going to be journaling as we're going. You may be going between closing your eyes and really feeling within, and then opening them to write. Okay. All right. And this visualization is called Creating a Brighter Future. Okay. So we've been through this journey. We've uncovered a lot of things, discovered a lot about yourselves. We've made progress. There's more progress that can be made. And so we're going to be projecting from here. We're going to take a look, leap a little bit forward in our life. And we're going to gather information that we can bring back and really put some things into play. Okay. All right. So let's just get comfortable and take some deep breaths. Maybe start out with your eyes closed, just to really center yourself, become present, fully present in this now moment. Eliminate any distractions. And just bring all of your attention and all of your focus to this present now space. pulling back any thoughts that are swirling around outside of you, and just pulling everything in and dissolving any negative thoughts, any worries, just letting them just dissolve and melt down and into the earth. And just take a deep breath in, a nice cleansing breath, allowing the peace and the presence to fill you, fill your cells, fill all the spaces in your body. Nothing for you to do, just be here now. Feel yourself settling in. And I'm going to ask you some special questions that you'll jot down the answers to right in the moment. And something I didn't mention, hopefully you all have it available. It would be helpful to have your Sacred Money Archetype card. So if you don't have that available, you can make that available in a peaceful and calm way. Still staying in this present moment. Do that. Yes. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you are out on a beautiful mountain range. You are dressed just as you need to feel comfortable. Comfortable in the mountain air. You feel good. It feels fresh. You feel really alive. And now from the spot that you are standing right now, go ahead and take a big deep breath in, allowing any sounds, any activities, any thoughts to just fade away into the background. And as you exhale, let your breath out completely and say to yourself, this time is for me. And take another breath in and bring your attention and focus to your heart. This is the space where you feel love and you allow yourself to be loved. Exhale deeply and let yourself feel connected to all that is good. Now take another deep breath in and bring your awareness and focus to your core, deep and low in your torso. This is the space where you can access your intuition and where certainty and courage resides. And let your breath out and notice just how deeply grounded and powerful you can allow yourself to feel in this moment. And now with your eyes still closed, I want you to imagine out in front of you, just one step away, that you have all the money that you need to live the life of your dreams. There is plenty there to take care of you and the people who are important to you. Because of this, your focus now is on your purpose and impact. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to envision that you are taking a big step forward, a leap from where you are to the next mountain. You're going to take a leap over this little valley. to the next peak. And when you do, when you take that leap, you are going to be right in the space where you are living the life of your dreams. And once you step into this space, when you leap in, I'm going to ask you to tell me about it. And we'll discover more about the purpose and impact that are most important to you. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're about to make that leap on the count of 3, where you leap out from where you are into living the life of your dreams. 1, 2, 3, and leap. Good. Whew. Go ahead and take a big breath in and out. You are now in that space of living the life of your dreams. Now that you are in this space of living the life of your dreams, let's discover what is your purpose and impact. So as I ask each question, write down your answers on your handout or on your notebook in front of you. And as I ask each question, you're answering as if you are already living the life of your dreams. So the first question is, now that you have all the money you need and you're living the life of your dreams, what do you spend time on? Go ahead and write down the first answers that come to mind. And here's the next question. From this space, what do you feel is your purpose? From this space, what do you feel is your purpose? Again, just write the first answers that come to you. And the next question is, what impact are you focusing on creating? What impact are you focusing on creating? Be as specific as you can be and allow yourself to dream with this one. And the last question here is there anything else that feels important to you regarding your purpose and impact? Right? Anything else that comes to you? Again, you're in this space of living the life of your dreams. Is there anything else that feels important to you regarding your purpose and impact? Okay. Is everyone ready to move on? Okay. So now, with this sense of purpose and impact, you're going to imagine that you've just learned that you only have 5 years left of your life. The end will come without notice. Knowing that the end of your life is coming sooner rather than later, it's important to gain a new perspective and sense of priorities. So to do that, I'm going to ask you on the count of 3 to make another leap. And this leap will be onto the next peak where you have just 5 years left of your life remaining. And you'll discover what is most important to you in that space. We're going to leap there next on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and take that leap. And when you land, just take a big breath in and let it out. Now that you are in this space of having just 5 more years of life, let's discover what is your perspective and priorities. As I ask each question, write down your answers on your paper in front of you. And remember that as I ask each question, you're answering as if you have just 5 more years of your life. So the first question is, knowing that the end of your life is coming sooner rather than later, what will you do with this all-important final phase of your life? Be honest and write down the first answers that come into your mind. next question is, what will give your life meaning? What will give your life meaning? Be as specific as you can be and allow yourself to say what is most important to you. And the next question is, what is the legacy you want to leave? Another way of thinking about this question is, what is the meaning you want your life to have? Just write whatever comes to mind.
It was legacy.
Legacy, yes. What legacy you want to leave, or what meaning you want your life to have. And here's the next question. Knowing what will give your life meaning, what changes will you make? Knowing what it is that will give your life meaning, what changes will you make? Again, be as specific as you can be. Does anyone need more time on this question? At the last question is there anything else that feels important to you regarding your perspective and priorities? Anything else that feels important to you regarding your perspective and priorities? Feel free to write anything else that comes to you now. Now, with this sense of perspective and priorities, you're going to imagine that you've been told you have just one day left of life. With this knowledge, your focus is now on completion and closure. So once again, I'm going to ask you on the count of 3 to take the next leap into the space of having just one day left of life, where you'll discover what is most important to you at this unique moment in time. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, and take the leap to the next mountain peak. And when you land, go ahead and take a big breath in and out, allowing yourself to arrive there. And now that you are in this space of having just one day left of life, what is most important is completion and closure. So as I ask each question, write down your answers on your handout or your journal in front of you. And remember that as I ask each question, you're answering as if you have just this one day left of life. So the first question is, knowing that this is a special moment, what do you want to be feeling? Be honest and write down the first answer that comes to mind. Now, the next question is, from this space, do you have dreams you wish that had been fulfilled? Do you have dreams that you wish had been fulfilled? Again, be honest. Now is the time to say what is most important to you. And the next question is, are there any regrets, or is there anything you wish you had done differently now that your life is about to be complete? Any regrets or anything you wish you had done differently now that your life is about to complete? Just write whatever comes to mind. Anyone need more time on this one? Okay. The last question here is there anything else that feels important to you regarding this final time of completion and closure? Right? Anything else that comes to you? Anything else that feels important regarding this final time of completion and closure? Okay. So now with this experience of completion and closure, on the count of 3, one last time, you'll take one more leap onto another peak. And this is the space of realization and renewal. Okay. So we're going to leap to realization and renewal in the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and take that leap. Go ahead and take a big breath in. Now that you've landed in this space of realization and renewal, you can go ahead and exhale. And in this space of realization and renewal, go ahead and turn around so that you're looking back in time to where you started. You're looking back over those other peaks of experience that you had. Take a moment to look back at what you experienced from completion and closure, and then to perspective and priorities, and then back to purpose and impact. And from this space, let's discover your realization and renewal. So as I ask each question, write down your answers, having gained all of this tremendous clarity. So the first question is, as you look back, what is a realization you've now had? Be honest and just write the first answers that come to your mind. As you look back, what is a realization you've now had? And the next question is, what are you seeing that you want to change in your life? What are you seeing you want to change in your life? Again, be as specific as you can be and allow yourself to say what is most important to you. What are you seeing you want to change in your life? And the next question is, what choices or decisions will you now make? What choices or decisions will you now make? Again, be as specific as you can be and allow yourself to say what you know to be true for you now. The next question. In what area of your life do you most want to see a new choice or decision show up first, and by when? In what area of your life do you most want to see a new choice or decision show up first, and by when? Be as specific as you can be so that you're creating your brighter future starting now.
I don't think I understand, Jill. A choice or a decision that I made that's different?
A choice or decision that will allow you to step into something that you know you really want in a
So
certain area of life.
a new choice or a new decision that I'm going to make.
Yes, that you want to, that you're putting a priority on. And the last question is there anything else that feels important to you regarding this final piece of realization and renewal? Anything else that feels important to you? Just write anything else that comes up related to realization and renewal. And when you feel complete, I invite you to take a moment to look at and appreciate how your sacred strengths of your top archetype is here to support you and empower you to create the future that you desire. And feel free to make any final notes that you want to make on your journal or handout. And just go ahead and wrap up any final thoughts that you're having. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a big, deep breath. Really anchoring in these realizations that you've had. And then on the count of 3, we're going to leap off the mountain peak altogether and back into your seat in this present moment. So go ahead on 3, 1, 2, 3, and off the mountain and safely into your seat. Go ahead and take a breath. Back in this present now moment, back into your life today, now. So, any sharing that anyone wants to offer? Anything that came up for you that you want to express in any of the areas?
For me, it was just more about my daughter, Shelby, getting her launched and in tune with what she really is good at and really wants to do. She's a finance major, and she said not that long ago, I'm kind of hearing that that's boring. And yet she's also an artist who's saying that she's not going to do art anymore, So I think she's going to need more than just for me paying everything for her. She's also going to need, some of this purpose stuff, knowing more about. I mean, she'll be 22 in August, so she doesn't know much about that, but it was huge. And then the weird one was for my sister, who I just was with at the funeral, and I've had some messages from her that my sister and my daughter haven't ever met, and that would be some sort of priority that like if I'm going to be gone, that was the idea. If I'm going to be gone in a year or a day or even whatever, that they've never even met or spoken or communicated in any way. Wouldn't that be cool if they had that? So I've never taken, never done anything with that. My sister hasn't even communicated with me in 30 years. So this was a first. So that was powerful because I hadn't ever put that 2 and 2 together, literally.
Wow. Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
So I can share too, very similar, Julie, of making sure kids are set. And I was thinking like, okay, I gotta make sure that my husband knows where the passwords are and they know where things are. Just a lot of that went through my head as well on the one day left. And then, and it really was that nurturing side came up in me. Like, I'm gonna make sure everybody's okay. And then that all came to what was that really about? And that was about feeling peace. And I just wanted to be in a peaceful feeling, knowing they're okay. I'm okay because I'm stepping into something greater even than this. So that's okay. And there was feelings of sadness, and that came up too. I'm like, wow, what if it's over? And just leaving that legacy behind. So peace really rose up, and that is one of my very top values. So that was there. Alignment was also a theme through all this. And so being as much in alignment as possible as we go through these next phases for myself, and also helping my family to be in alignment with their true selves. So as I'm living my life from today forward, of course, that's a high priority. Being an example of being in alignment and making empowered choices. That's another part of my purpose, is making empowered choices for myself, and then also encouraging others to do the same. And there was also a theme about, it's not about saving other people. It was just loving them where they're at and being at peace with that. So, and that was my realization at the end, just living in alignment and joy affects myself and others. And then the 3 words that I have are courageous, visionary, and determined. And at the end, it just came out. I was like, wow, I actually really can have what I envision. And that was big to just actually feel that for just a moment. Like, I actually can have this stuff. And because of the visionaries of visionary, and then I have the courage and determination to do so. So it's pretty cool. But thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Love it.
Julie inspired me there. So that was good.
Yeah. She opened the door.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, it was the same thing. The kids is what came up, and that, gee, I wish I had been more aware when they were younger, you know. And I mean, I certainly had made changes from, even pre-kids, and I can see that, but, they're not thinking about, life purpose and, it's more like the day-to-day, stuff. And so how to bring that awareness to their level. And that was one question, even about the money stuff, because my relationship with money is little by little, as you can see, changing. I'm wanting it to change. But how I've thought about it has probably influenced, what I do. And so, and how I interact. And so wanting to know, like, practically, how do you start changing this and communicating it at their level where they, you can't just sit and have, okay, now we're going to talk about this, it can't be like that. So how to do that is really a concrete question, how to do that, so that they, are living, the life that they are meant to live. And then the other thing that came up, which has to do with what I've been talking about, looking at my own shadows. Where did I write it? The first question, had to do with spending time on, and this kept coming up, helping people or supporting them shed light on their stories and their shadows, which continuing to do my own stuff. But wouldn't it just be easier, if we didn't have all this stuff? That just has been coming up to me so much, because I see it, just everywhere. Everybody has it, and in my own family, and, the legacy and the histories, and why I've got my issues is because there was all this stuff that, wasn't dealt with. Every family has it, but that just seems to really be coming through. And then somehow I wanted to do it with my kids. And then the vision, I don't know, I kept looking, like New Mexico, that kind of area. I have no idea why. Native American, and just the sense of like being really in a space where you're really connected with the earth. And just feeling that overall connection just between the, human beings and the earth itself. And then when it was it the last day? What was it? How you felt? Oh, when you have one day left, it was like what Linda was saying, this feeling of warm and love and connection. And I put absolutely not any fear. I know you're probably not supposed to do negatives, but that's been one of the big issues in my life. And I know a lot of where it comes from, but that's one of the biggies. And then just a feeling that, even if I'm not physically here, they can still communicate. So yeah, it's questions about practically, how do I do this, in a way that's going to make sense for them, little by little. I can't just throw it at them, which of course is what I want to, but I can't. So that's what came up at the end, which surprised me too, that so much was really about them.
Yeah. Well, we're all mothers at heart, right?
Yeah. Lee, how old are your kids?
The youngest is 13, and I have twin girls. They're 18.
I was kind of picturing younger, so I was trying to figure that out. Thanks. Twin girls that are 18. Wow. What are they doing?
They just started college.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're all in a similar type place. So Julie's a little ahead, but yeah, just a little bit.
I'm also quite a bit older. Lee, if you're thinking about that, you need to come to my Sedona, Arizona retreat.
Yes, it'd probably be the perfect place. Send me the information.
There you go.
Yeah. It's
I
funny. I
love
used to
it.
live in Colorado. And so I've been in that area, but I don't know why this image, is coming. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, remember from our voice of intuition, everything means something, so that's obviously has some meaning to you. I will say, this is beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Lee. Just to answer that concrete question that you had, like, what's the best way to, because, I've had these regrets too. I wish, even though I started this work when my son was 5, there's still stuff I see that, darn it, why didn't I, why couldn't I have done, so yeah, that's just normal because we're always evolving. So we're always learning things we didn't know yesterday, so, and they keep growing. It's crazy how they do that. So you're right that they don't want you to sit down and say, okay, we're going to have this conversation. No. But the number one best way, which I think you probably know this, Lee. I think we all really know this, but I'm just going to say it. The number one best way to help your child to really get these things is for you to fully embody them. They get it much easier. Like, they pick up stuff through osmosis of, like, from us. Like, the older they get, I mean, when they're really young, they really go by energy. I've seen, like, kids just really pick up the energy. And that's why it's so important for parents to really be connected within themselves. But as they get older and just through conditioning, we sort of unlearn that energetic connection. So there is more that we have, more we can do to teach them. However, you're the best teacher when you're actually modeling it in your own life. So that's the number one most important thing to do, is work it in your own life first. And then when things come up with them, you can speak to them about it from the space of, you have done it. So you're coming from that energy where they know that and that will help them hear you better than if you're just trying to tell them something you heard about, but you haven't actually done it.
I've been amazed with my kind of relationship, I don't know, chaos, in my third marriage right now, married at 60, that my daughter actually calls me when she has that kind of question. So she knows I've been through the crap and the good and the bad and everything. And I guess she says she's read my book, so she knows a little bit about some of those stories, but she'll call me and crying and say, well, what do I do? And, Bryce is this and that. And what do I say? And I'm like, why do you think I know? But it's been interesting to see, that more than I ever thought at this age, which is kind of in between. She's not close to me like when she was little, but she's not the yucky of teen either. She's kind of like on the way to, and she was just here for a 5-day visit. But I'm amazed at the things she calls me and asks me about, which I think is fabulous. I love it. I don't know if I give her the great advice, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a really good point, because we become expert because through our challenges, we can become expert at this stuff. If you had a perfect marriage always and forever for 30 years or whatever, yes, there is learnings from that too, but it's the challenges where we grow the most. So you've experienced, like, challenges in relationships, and you've learned a lot from that, and you've grown a lot from it, and so she has seen that, and she knows that, and so you are someone who could shed a lot of light on what's going on when a challenge arises, right? Yeah. So I think that's great. That's great. It's like, and it kind of makes us realize, oh, okay, so the times when we've messed up or we've had a challenge, it's like, those are really good teaching moments for our kids. Like, they can learn a lot from us having gone through crappy experiences. I mean, I definitely have taught my son over the years through some of the crap I've been through, where if everything was perfect all the time, I wouldn't have been able to help him as much. Yeah. So it kind of makes it worth it. All right. Well, any final comments before we just wrap things up here? Ladies. All right. Okay. Well, the one thing I wanted to do, the final thing, is just to have each person just say one thing that you are most proud of yourself right now, based on anything that's opened up for you over these past 6 months, something that you just like, I feel really good about myself with this thing. Okay, so I'll just give you a moment to just feel into what that might be for you that you would like to share. One thing that you feel really proud of yourself for. Okay, so when you have it, yours, if you want to go ahead and speak it.
Mine should be easy. It seems a long time ago now because it was way back, but I raised my price, and I feel good about that, even though I haven't duplicated it a lot, but I doubled basically. I mean, I really raised my prices for my 6-month, my 3-month and my 6 weeks programs, and I got it, and I said it without stumbling much. So that was good.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. That
Yeah.
is so awesome. High five. Woo. Yes, yes. Love it. Yes, it's awesome. Excellent. Who wants to go next? Something that you
I
are
can.
proud of.
Sure.
Okay.
Two pop up. What the one that I talked about was going through the shadow work and surviving that. I guess that was big, and it was big for me because it helped me step out of fear and into peace. And so I'm becoming more familiar with the feeling of peace, and that ultimately leads to alignment. And that was one of my top things I wrote at the very beginning of this year, was to step more into alignment. And by being in alignment, I'm embracing all parts of me, not just picking up the cream of the crop, but it's all those parts, and really understanding that. And in doing that, my intuition has increased a lot too. So those are lumped together, but those are 3 things that really stand out. So thank you all for being part of the journey.
Awesome.
Fun how much we've grown. It's cool. So thank you.
Yes. High five.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Awesome. It's like that elf. I don't know if you guys, kids show where they put the hand with the elf animal. I don't know what he is, but my son used to do that. Okay, never mind. All right, Lee.
I think for me, well, one is just really being able to slowly start to change the way I look at money. So that's one. And that's just the beginning now. I'm just doing that, just the tip of it right now. But the other is just in my classes, and what I'm doing is just really sharing what I want to share, and just noticing that people are really connecting with that. I mean, I have one new class now that's the most challenging because they're beginners, and they're, if I've been talking about people's stories. I mean, there's all this stuff going on, I think, and I'm sharing it with a friend, and she's sensing the same thing. So it's very challenging because I don't feel that connection with them like I do with the other people who come. But just noticing that what I'm saying is it's making a difference, and people want to hear it. And so just figuring out a way to just keep doing, I'm feeling much more secure in that. And even though, I started, in the beginning, I was talking about, I'm not doing so much on SNS and stuff, but in what I'm doing and what I'm saying, I'm just letting kind of be a channel. And so I want to do that more. And so a lot of it has to do just with trust. And that will, maybe be connected with the money too. That what the top word in the top sacred strength is trusting, is the first word.
Wow.
And then innocence and resilience. So the innocence is kind of an interesting one to me, because that's certainly, it feels a little bit naive, but, well, I mean, I guess that's the way I am. I got to accept that. But figure out how that can also be a strength. Yeah.
That's a good question to journal on. How can innocence be a strength for me? How is it a strength for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, beautiful. High five to Lee. Woohoo. Yay. Yes. Well, I am so happy and excited for all of you. So let's just go ahead and I was going to do the cap off. So you can do the cap off if you want. Or what I want to do is put the crown on. We're being crowned that we love ourselves rich now. We now have the tools in this crown. We're going to put it on now. And yes, and we can just love ourselves and walk around with this crown on our heads now. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I love it, ladies. Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, congratulations, all of you. You've all done a fabulous job. And couple of announcements really quick, and I will let you go and I'll make it really, really fast. I'm going to be reaching out to each of you. You can say no. I'm telling you right now, you can say no. But I sort of put it out a few weeks ago in one of our calls that I would love to meet one-on-one with you in like a 20-minute short like interview. I want to get I want to ask some very specific questions about the marketing of this program. Since you have just experienced it, I would greatly appreciate your help to giving me just feedback from your perspective and having been in this. So if you're willing to do that with me, literally like 20 minutes, I have just a few questions. We'll just go through it. It's just how you feel in the moment, done. And I would greatly appreciate it. If you don't have time or you don't want to, I totally understand. Okay. It's just, but I'll reach out and you just let me know. Okay. Privately. So there's that. The second thing is I mentioned that I'm doing this class again. I love this class. I can't wait to do it again. Right now, I wasn't really able to schedule until October 1st, but I am talking to people now and I am giving them special things coming in now. So they would get the price that you guys got it. Well, it's a little bit more than what you got it at actually, but they'd be getting a lower price than what the group of when I officially promote it. And they would also get a couple private sessions with me. So, and they will get access to the trainings right away. So they're going to get stuff to get them going and then they can start October 1st. So if you know of people that you think this could be a help to, and you would like to recommend this program, I do give referral commissions. And the referral commission is $500 a person that would commits based on, and that signs up based on coming from you. So it's a way to make money. If you got a lot of value out of the program and you want to share that with someone, it's, people want to hear from someone who's been through it that they know and trust. Okay. So I just want to share that. You just have to, if you're sending someone to me, just let me know so that I know, okay, Lee needs to get that referral commission if they sign up. Okay. You don't have to sell them on this program, but you can share about it and I can take it from there with them. Okay. I just want to let you all know that that's there for you if you want it. And then those of you staying on for our continuation program, I'm so excited to get going on that. We'll just keep working on this stuff and we'll just keep going. You have everything you need right now. And you can go back and listen to this stuff as many times as you want. And hopefully like that treasure map that I sent you and stuff will help you. Oh yeah, these are the things I want to go back and check on. But as we move forward, you've got what you need and we can always go deeper with it too. So very exciting times. I wish everyone the greatest success and I love you all and thank you for being in this first initial class with me. And I greatly appreciate your love and support and your presence. So thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, Jill. And thank you all.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's been great.
Been
You
awesome.
guys have a good day. Bye-bye, you
You
guys.
too.
Bye.
Take care. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks
Thank you.
all. Lots of love. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.